Here is baby Everly. Say hi, world. She is so chubby and we love it. Oh, here she is. My sweet girl. It's my sweet. She loves to just stare at you and talk to you and just, yeah, and she's a grunter. She likes to grunt. Oh my goodness, she makes us laugh so much. She is just such a sweet baby girl. So yes, and I am just loving mom life. Everything was worth it. She is now 9 pounds, so definitely eating a lot. I feel like that's all I do is feed. But we are just so in love with her. And she's so squirmy. Yes, she is. So squirmy. So squirmy. And here's June. Just look at these cheeks. Look at these cheeks. I know. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think she looks like me? I'll have to show some baby pictures because it's actually pretty crazy how much she does look like me. But she's doing so good. She is a happy little baby. She's so perfect and I just could not ask for anything more. Isn't that right? She's very squirmy and very talkative. She loves to talk and she loves it when people talk to her. She'll just like stare at you. It's the sweetest thing. Isn't that white? Okay, so I think I'm gonna put her in her little rock and play while I record the rest of this video. Is that okay with you? Yeah? Getting squirmy. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my labor, delivery, like birth story. Oh no, we lost our passy. We lost our passy. I want to start at the very beginning of what I think was my labor. At 36 weeks, I had my regular appointment and I went in and they went ahead and checked me because I started to have a lot of Braxton Hicks contractions and I was just kind of getting a little bit worried. So they went ahead and checked me and I was dilated 2 centimeters and 80% effaced. My midwife was like, you need to make sure you're taking it easy because she was saying that she was pretty sure this baby was going to be a little early. She's like, you're going to be full term in a week, so if she does come, she's going to be fine, but since you're only 36 weeks right now, take it easy. So in my mind, ever since that day, I was like planning on this baby coming a little bit early, and so I was like calling my mom. I was like, Mom, the midwife thinks I'm gonna be early, and plus my mom was always early with all of us, so she was like, since your mom was always early, that could very well be the same thing with you. I called my mom, and her and my sister already went ahead and came here because they wanted to make sure that they did not miss the labor and delivery and all that. Here I am thinking that it's gonna be any day, and here comes 37 weeks roll by. And still nothing. I went in and she checked me again. For some reason, when she checked me, she thought it was dilated 5 centimeters. So this was my 37 weeks appointment and she thought it was dilated 5 centimeters. And then she was like, actually, wait a second. It feels like you're 5 centimeters on the outside, but still a 2 on the inside. And I was like, okay, I didn't even know that was a thing. But and then also at my 37-week appointment, I was diagnosed with Group B. Group B is something that anybody can get. A lot of women have it and you don't even know you have it. You can go ahead and just look it up exactly what it is. It's not harmful to me at all, and most of the time people don't even show like any kind of symptoms of Group B, but it can be very dangerous to a baby when they are being born. So that kind of freaked me out. But all they do when you have Group B is you just get put on antibiotics right before the baby's born. I think you need to be on it for about 4 hours before the baby's born, and then you're fine and you're good and your baby's fine too. There's like 80% of women have this. Only 1% of babies actually get this. But still in the back of your mind, you're like, what if my baby's at 1%? You know, it's still freaky. Anyway, so now at 37 weeks, I'm full term, so I'm ready to go anytime. And so we started like doing more labor inducing things because I was huge at this point. Oh my goodness. I got so big with her, and she was so low. I'll go into that a little bit later. So now I'm 38 weeks, again thinking that I'm going to go into labor anytime. I am constantly getting Braxton Hicks contractions, like all day, every day. I would start tracking them, and they would become 5 minutes apart, and then they would just like stop. And so, it was so frustrating. But at my 38-week appointment, she went ahead and stripped my membrane. I remember her saying, "Oh, I have a feeling that I'm going to see you again later tonight. Like, you're pretty much just ready to go, you know, so your body can just go at any time." And so here I am thinking that I'm going to have a baby that night. But, I mean, it's not her fault. Like, there's no way of knowing, you know. So it just sucks because I had my hopes so, like, my hopes were so high. But anyway, it was fine. So that night we went to the movies, and I started getting contractions, and they were feeling like real, I didn't know what I was feeling. Like, I've never had a baby before, so I didn't know what contractions felt like. Because normally my Braxton Hicks contraction would just like be like a tightening of my stomach, and they didn't hurt or anything, but these started to actually hurt. Like, I could feel it in my back and then all over my lower stomach, and I was like, oh my word, I think this might be the real deal. I started timing them, and they were like 3 minutes apart, and I was so excited. I'm like, let's just go home, let me walk around a little bit and see if they go away. So of course we came home, and they just slowly trickled away, which I was like, dang it. And now 39 weeks pregnant, I was so freaking miserable. You guys have no idea. I was so big, and she was so low. Every single time I went to the doctor, they were like, oh my goodness, she is so low. And I remember when she was checking me one time, she was like, I can see her hair. It was insane. Anytime she would move, she would hit this nerve in my thigh, and oh my goodness, it would bring me to my knees. It was such terrible pain, and I was just waddling everywhere I went. Sorry if the camera moved angles. I was sitting on my knees, and it was getting really uncomfortable. So throughout this pregnancy, I didn't really get very swollen until about 39 weeks. That's where I started to notice my feet looked insane. It felt like a balloon walking on them. My hands were so swollen, my face was getting so swollen, my nose was getting so swollen, which was so weird. That's another thing. I was like, I am so ready to have this baby. So 39 weeks roll around, I'm just like, when is this gonna happen? Finally in my head, I'm like, I am literally, like, this baby is not coming. They're just gonna end up having to induce me, and that's just how it's gonna be. Every day, I just felt like a walking time bomb. It was so frustrating. I'm sure a lot of you women can relate. But at my 39-week appointment, I remember she was like, I cannot believe that you are still here, that you still have this baby inside of you. And I'm like, tell me about it. I started experiencing more like fluid coming out, and I got nervous that maybe it was my water leaking. And since I have the group B, that made me really nervous. I'm like, what if the baby could get an infection if there's like a tear or something? I called them, and they told me to go ahead and come in. So I went ahead and came in. They checked me, and I was good. They're like, no, that's normal. They're like, it's probably just pee since she's so low, you don't even notice. Finally, we're at 39 weeks, 6 days pregnant. And that whole day, I felt just different. I don't know. I can't even really explain. I just felt like just different. I didn't want to get my hopes up, so I was just like, it's probably nothing. I always think it's something, and it never is. But then that night rolls around, and I just was feeling just very crampy and just very uncomfortable. But then again, I had been feeling that prior to that day, but that day just felt a little bit different. I think it was around 11 o'clock. And I was like, I think I'm just gonna go to bed. I also took a nap that day. I was sleeping a ton that day. I think I'm just gonna go to bed, try to sleep it off. So I went to bed, and around 2 in the morning, I woke up to very bad cramping. I laid there for a little bit trying to kind of sleep it off, but it wasn't going away. I got up, I started like moving around, seeing if that would help. It wouldn't. And I noticed it starting to become like a pattern, but I didn't think I was in labor because these contractions felt nothing like Braxton Hicks contractions, and I was expecting real contractions to feel somewhat like Braxton Hicks contractions, but they didn't at all. It just was insane cramping in my lower back and then my lower stomach. And so I started to time them, and TJ was awake at this point, and he was just telling me, he's like, do you think this is it? And I was like, I honestly don't know. I'm like, this feels nothing like how I thought it was gonna feel like. So I just kind of kept like fighting through the pain, and then they were about 3 minutes apart, and I was like, what if this is real labor? Because nothing I could do was making it feel better, and there's certain things that I could do before that would make them kind of go away. So I went ahead and I woke my mom up. I was like, Mom, I think I might be in early labor. She's like, okay, what is it? Like, what are you feeling? And I told her, and she's like, oh yeah, you're definitely in labor. She's like, you are progressing so fast, you need to just go. So we left at around 3, and then we got there at about 3:30, and I was admitted. They went ahead and checked to see if my water had broke, and it had, which was really frustrating to me because when they were checking me before to see if my water had broken, when I thought it had broken, they were like, oh, when your water breaks, you will know, like, there's going to be no denying it. And so I was expecting to just know when my water was broken, because actually the night that I did go into labor, I did notice more fluid coming out, but it still wasn't like a lot, like because a lot of women say it's like a gush. But I think the fact that she was so low was kind of restricting it all to just flow out. So it was like a trickle. So that's why I didn't think my water had broke. So I went in there and they checked me, and they're like, no, your water is broken. You are in labor. You're staying here. So that honestly was a good feeling. I was kind of nervous though, because I was like, I don't know when my water had broken, because they were a little concerned since I do have group B. They want to make sure that those antibiotics get in there. The infection can pass through to the baby from the water being broken. They just right away put me on antibiotics, and then we talked about epidural. And at this point, I wasn't in a super amount of pain. There'd be times where I'd have a contraction and I didn't even know I was having a contraction. But I remember I was sitting there talking to the nurse about an epidural, and they started to get super, super intense. And I remember trying to like hold this like normal conversation with the nurse, but inside I'm like dying of pain. At that point I was like, okay, I think I want the epidural. When I got there, they checked me and I was 3 centimeters dilated. By the time he got there to give me the epidural, I was now at 4 centimeters dilated. And it was 6:40, so we got there at 3:30, and that was 6:40, and I was 4 centimeters dilated. And their plan was to give me the epidural and then to give me Pitocin after those antibiotics were in me for the full amount that I needed. They're like, okay, so we'll probably give you Pitocin about 8 o'clock, and then it'll probably take you until about 2 to be like fully dilated and ready to go. So that's kind of what we were planning on. We were like, okay, so it's my first time ever having a baby, so usually it takes longer for you to be in labor. So TJ just got comfortable. He started taking a nap. After the epidural, I took a nap. I was good. I felt great after the epidural, let me tell you. It was about, I think, an hour later. No, it wasn't even an hour later. They checked me again after the epidural, and I was already at a 7.5 centimeters dilated. So I went from a 4 to a 7.5 in less than an hour with an epidural. The nurse was like, okay, never mind, we're not doing any Pitocin. They honestly were really shocked considering it was my first baby. She was like, your body was just so ready to have this baby. And I'm like, that makes so much sense since she's been so low, and I feel like I've been in early labor for weeks now. That was such a good feeling. I really did not want to get on Pitocin because I know that can make for really hard contractions, and even though I was on an epidural still, you like to think that your body can just do what it's supposed to do on its own, and my body was, and so that was so cool. And then it was about maybe an hour later, and I was fully dilated. And she was like, I'm not gonna have you start pushing yet. I just want you to call me when you feel the urge to push. Which I think she is so smart for doing that, because my mom says a lot of times they'll have women start pushing really early and then they can just push for hours. So she was like, I don't want to do that. Just when you feel it, then call me. I just waited until I felt like I needed to push, and I gave her a call and I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to go. And she came in, and it was, guys, it was seriously the most, just the coolest experience. It was, personally, I am so happy that I got an epidural, because it really made me able to enjoy the experience and really be in the moment. Because when you're in that much amount of pain, you're just like, get this baby out of me right now. But with the epidural, like, I just really just felt just so empowered, just having, it's literally gonna make me cry, but like having TJ right there beside me, just, he was so great. Like, he was so amazed by me and just seeing the whole process, and I'm not gonna get through this. Just having him there with me and just cheering me on, it was just so good for us. It was such like a bonding experience, and he would just get so excited, and it would just make me so excited. And I remember like pushing that baby out, and it's just like, I can't even get through this video. It's just such an amazing experience. Like, I did request to have a mirror because I did want to see, and I'm so happy I did, because when I saw her head coming out, it just gave me just that extra strength I needed to just push her out. And I pushed that baby out in 35 minutes. It was the most amazing experience of my life. Oh my word, I was on so much adrenaline. It's crazy, and I was just so ready to get her out. And just when everyone's like, oh my word, her head, like, I can see her head, I can see her hair, and just like an empowering thing to like know that my body did that. Like, my body held and carried that baby inside of me for almost 10 months. How amazing, like, God designed, you know, the human body to do that. It's just so just breathtaking, really. And how there just was no baby and then baby. It's just such an amazing experience. Hearing that cry for the first time was just, it was just the sweetest noise ever. I am such a worrier, and throughout my whole pregnancy, I just was constantly worrying about her, constantly just like stressing over everything. And in that moment, it was just like all of my anxiety and stress just like disappeared, and I had my baby. Gosh, I'm sorry guys, I'm literally a freaking mess and I can't help it. And then seeing TJ hold her was just such a surreal moment. Like, he just, oh my word, he is so good with her. Like, he's the best dad ever. And it's just so crazy, like, seeing like our baby, like, that's just like him and me together. It's just so amazing, and I would not change anything at all about my birth experience. It just went so well, and everyone at Reed was just absolutely amazing. They were making me laugh the whole time. They were so laid back, just so amazing. Everyone in the during delivery and then after and postpartum, they were all so great. I could not recommend them more. Her little cheeks are so chubby. When she came out, she got stuck. Her little head got stuck. So she had bruises all across her little cheeks, and then some on her forehead, and then some on her chin. And it was just so cute. Her little face was so swollen when she was first born, but She did so good. She is just, I'm so in love with her. I can't even tell you guys. I really hope I didn't miss anything. Sorry, I was crying through a lot of this video, but it was seriously the most amazing, empowering moment of my life. It also just really taught me to love my body for what it is and all of its imperfections, because my body like made a human and birthed it. Like that's insane. So I'm gonna show you guys my stomach, what it looks like now. It is definitely not perfect, but I'm honestly very happy from where it is at right now. So it's been a week and 5 days since I've had her, and I feel like my stomach is doing pretty good. So here's my stomach from the front with a shirt on. Here it is, whoa, falling over. Here it is from the side. It's pretty flat, which is good. And I'll show you guys what it's definitely not perfect. I have that line still, as you can see. I have stretch marks, which I'm not surprised because my stomach got so big. But honestly, they're really not that bad, and they'll fade, they'll go away. It's only been, what, a little over a week, almost 2 weeks. So, but here it is from this angle. So it is, there's still a little bit of a pooch, and it's very squishy. Definitely don't have any abs right now. I am happy where it's at. Also, before I forget, when it comes to tearing and stuff like that, I only tore a little bit. She said it was like two big paper cuts. I have two stitches and then a few staples, so really wasn't that bad. They were very impressed since I pushed her out so fast, and she was almost 9 pounds. She was a big baby. So I'm very blessed that I didn't tear more. As far as postpartum goes, it's going pretty good. I'm feeling a lot better now. Definitely had my days where I was in a lot of pain. I'm just trying to enjoy this time, trying to just figure everything out for being a mom. Just, you know, me and Everly just trying to figure each other out. So that's gonna conclude this video. And also, you guys, if you do have any suggestions for any kind of videos you want me to do, please leave them in the comments. I want to know what you guys want to see. I am an open book if you guys have any kinds of questions. Don't feel weird about answering pretty much anything, so ask away. So I hope that this maybe helped any of you women that are pregnant and getting ready to have a baby. I know everyone's birth story is so unique, but still it's nice to hear other people's, just to kind of give you an idea of what it could be like. Or I hope you enjoyed this video if this just interests you, because it definitely interests me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in my next one. Bye guys!